My name is Paul Wolliver. I'm the owner of Pinellas Power Products. I wanted to take a couple of minutes to show how to use a portable generator as a home backup system. Real quickly, before we get too deep into this, if you have any additional questions or anything like that, you'd like to get in touch with me, please do not try to contact me through the YouTube messages. I do not monitor the messages. I simply don't have time. If you look in the description section below, you'll see a link to my website where you can get me by email or by phone and ask me anything you'd like to know. Real quickly, this is for home backup use in case of a storm or power loss for any reason whatsoever. I'm going to be using a Duramax 16,000 watt generator, and I'm going to be using the dual fuel version. They have a tri-fuel version as well. This generator is big enough to provide whole house backup for most homes in the US. In fact, it's big enough to handle the startup current load for a 3-ton air conditioner. If you wanted, they also have a 28,000 watt generator, and that thing's kind of a beast. But let's go ahead and get started. First thing is to take power cords, or a power cord, whichever, that's big enough to handle the total current that you're going to be running. And since this generator is 16,000 watts, I need 2 cords capable of 50 amp service, because that'll be a total of 100 amps real quickly. Let me show you something about the power cords. You want to come in here real close. I like the 90-degree fittings, because if the power cord plugs straight in, then you've got the weight of the cord pulling down on it. So we're going to hook the first cord to the generator. And then we're going to hook the other end to the target building. Now you'll notice that with a 90-degree end, the cord hangs straight down. It doesn't put any extra strain on it, and that's why I like these particular cables. Then you come over to the target building, and on this target building, I've got 2 power inlet boxes. And real quickly, I like the power inlet boxes that, number 1, have an indicator light to show when the generator is putting power into it. Okay, my target building has got 2 inlet boxes because we're going to be running 2 power cords parallel to each other. Real quickly, when you go to choose the power inlet boxes, I like the ones that are deeper from front to back. These are about 2.5 inches deep. I've seen some that are only like 1 7/8 inches deep or 2 inches deep, and it's pretty difficult to do the wiring. And so I would prefer to have something that was a big enough box that you could do the wiring. These particular boxes also have 2 retainers. These plugs push in and then rotate about 15 degrees, and then they've got this threaded adapter. And this box has that same feature to it. You'd turn the power cord to lock it in, and then you'd lock the threaded adapter. And when you go to get power cords, try to get one that's solid copper. These claim to be solid copper. I haven't actually cut them apart to make sure, but you'd get into a lot of trouble claiming that it was solid copper. And I'll try to leave a link in the description section of the video for the power cord and for the inlet box. Now we'll take the next power cord and we'll plug it in to the generator as well. And we'll run it over to the other power inlet box. And again, you plug it in, then rotate it about 15 degrees, and then screw the threaded nut down to make sure that it doesn't come off. This particular generator has the Pinellas Power Products Extended Runtime Fuel Kit installed. And what that does is it allows you to hook the generator to a remote fuel tank. In this case, we're going to be hooking it to a 30-gallon fuel caddy. So to do that, you hook one end of the fuel hose to the fuel caddy, making sure that the arrow on the fuel hose is pointed in the direction of fuel flow, which would be from the tank to the generator. If your remote tank has an auto or shut-off valve, make sure that the shut-off valve is in the on position. If your tank has a manual vent, make sure that the manual vent is in the open position. And then you'll connect the other end of the hose to the quick disconnect fitting on the generator. And what that does is it now allows you to run the generator off of your remote tank. And with the Pinellas Power Products Extended Run Fuel Kit, if you're running off the remote tank, you want to make sure that the fuel is in the off or storage position to run off the remote tank, and in the run position or on to run off the stock tank. And since we're going to be running it off the remote tank, we're going to put it in the off/storage position. Then to start the generator, you move the switch to the on position and press the start button. After you press the start button, you want to make sure that the circuit breakers are in the on position. So we'll go ahead and start it. And now we'll turn the main breakers on. And now we'll go ahead and head inside. Okay, so this is the load center of the building. I've got mine set up so that you've got a display that tells you what the grid power, voltage, current, and so on is, what the generator power is, and what the solar is. The grid and the generator are both running right now, as you well know. The grid will not go out because we are not without a power. This is strictly a demonstration, but if we were without power, your grid would be off. This is a generator lockout plate. What it does is it keeps you from having the grid and the generator turned on at the same time, because they need to be in phase. If they're even slightly out of phase, you're going to let the smoke out of something. So the generator lockout plate prevents that problem. So what I'll do is I will shut off the grid, slide the lockout plate up, and then turn the generator on, and we'll be back to lighting. But the lights will be powered by the generator. So if you turn the flashlight on, you'll see that the grid is out, slide the lockout plate up, and now we're powered back up again, this time by generator. The Duramax 16000 has a clean enough total harmonic distortion that it will allow grid intertie solar systems to synchronize with it. The grid intertie solar systems will require it to be 59.7 hertz to 60.5 hertz, which is really tight. The standard single-phase generators, there's only a couple that I know of that will stay that tight in frequency because they're a simple centrifugal governor. And a centrifugal governor is not that precise. The inverter generators, they generate power three-phase, full wave, on either a delta or a Y wound stator. I believe this one's a delta wound stator, which is series winding. They then invert it to, or excuse me, they convert it to DC in a bus, and then they invert it to 60 hertz single phase through pulse width modulation. So that will allow the inverter series generators, such as the Duramax 16000, to be hooked up to your house and synchronized to a solar if you wanted. Let's see if the solar has booted up. Okay, so mine's still warming up. But at any rate, with a 16,000 watt generator and a solar array, you've got over 20,000 watts backup in this case. So I don't have to be careful about anything as far as what I'm running. I can run every single thing at the same time. As I said earlier, if you have any questions, contact me through my website, which is in a link below this video. If you have any comments, go ahead and feel free to leave them. And I thank you so much for your time.